Hey guys, how's it going? Well, it's been a minute since I did a YouTube video, so I just wanted to put something up and kind of give people an update about things that have been going on in my life. I definitely have been staying very busy this year. If you follow me on social media, you probably saw that I released an album at the end of May called Accents. And I'm super proud of that project. I have a lot of friends playing with me and some really amazing players. It's a mix of original music, Latin music, gypsy jazz, and like I said, I'm really proud of that project. So I'm going to put a link below because a lot of people, may not follow me on social media yet, and they haven't seen me posting about that relentlessly. So you guys can check out the album. Actually, all of the album is on my YouTube channel as well, so maybe you have seen it if you're already subscribing to me here. What else have I been up to? Well, my family has been down in Colombia for a couple weeks. My wife is from Colombia. You might have heard me say that before. And tomorrow, I'm actually going to see my family, and then we're going to come back here to Nashville together. I've been doing other music projects as well. Actually, in mid-June, I played a festival with Allison Brown, which was super fun. Just really fun to work on really hard music and a lot of new songs and challenge myself to memorize things. And another cool thing I did a couple weeks ago, I actually recorded another album, a duo album, the first time I've ever done a duo album with the amazing Brazilian mandolinist Ian Curry. And if you guys have seen our video that I put on this YouTube channel a couple years ago, Ian is amazing. I actually met him 3 years ago when he was studying at Berkeley in Boston, and he actually just graduated with his bachelor's, and he's going back in the fall to do a master's. So I'm so excited. We worked on really fun music, really fun repertoire. We did 3 of his original tunes, 3 original tunes of mine, and we did 3 covers. So a couple jazz things and lots of Latin, like Brazilian stuff going on. But the topic of this video, as far as what I'm going to teach you right now, is about jazz chords. You guys have probably already seen some of my videos about jazz chords. That's a topic that comes up a lot. And I actually have some instructional videos on my website that I will include a link below teaching about the really common jazz chord shapes that I use. But I wanted to show you guys some different fun things. Something that just comes to mind, if you're in the key of C, a lot of tunes in the jazz world utilize the 1-6-2-5 chord progression. So that means that it's C to A minor 7, D minor 7 to G7. But there's a lot of different voicings you can use basically to substitute over a 1-6-2-5 type movement. So if I played just like a 1-6-2-5 as I teach it in my instructional videos, etc., that would be something like this. Here's a good C6 shape. It's coming from this C bar shape. So maybe I'll do something like. Now, there's so many different directions you could go with this because, first of all, my C chord, I could be playing C like this. That's like a C6 that's got an A on top. I could play C major 7 with a B on top there. This is a shape right here that I really like that gets the major 7 and the 6th. Some of my original music utilizes this shape, which I don't think you hear enough on mandolin. So from there, that's just out of one position of the neck. So for a C shape, you could also play the same voicing I did for A minor 7. That works as C6. So it just depends on the context, because if I'm starting there as my C6 chord, then for the next chord, it works to do something if you're going to play A minor 7, or if you're going to play a different chord. It sounds better if you're going to do a different voicing. So right there, I started on C6 and I went to A minor 7 with a 9. Here's a D minor 7. Same shape as the one down here. There's a G7 with a 13 on it. Now, any of these voicings, you could just do so many things too, but here's let's keep going with this thought here about doing like another C voicing. So here's a great voicing right here for C6. And it doesn't have a C note in it, but it's very much a jazz chord. Sounds great over C6 and A minor 7. But I want to show you this little movement right here. You could go. So I've created this movement that sounds really good. All of the chords sound appropriate, or there's a lot of voice leading going on from one chord to the next. You're making changes like this one. So I'm keeping my first finger the same. And then I'm bringing this back and getting this diminished chord. But see, I'm adding this C sharp note on top, so it sounds a little bit different. Here's a D minor chord. So that's again bringing those top notes down. When I do this G7, like a G13, and I bar with my first finger, that continues that same movement down. And the fun thing about any of these jazz chord movements, I can really improvise, because if I play that figure, like those 4 chords, well, what if I want to change the last one? Or I could do a different one down here. So, really, there's so many different options, but let me show you like another example of something that works over 1, 6, 2, 5 in C major. So if we start with that C6 voicing down here, I can go up to this diminished, which is a C sharp diminished. And remember, if you guys have studied the diminished shapes and the diminished arpeggios, and I also have a video about that topic too, but you know that if you're playing a diminished chord, really it could be any of the notes that are in that chord, in that arpeggio. It could be that diminished chord, but really it depends on the context in which you're playing it, because this is creating a movement, and it makes sense that the B flat comes after the A, because that's part of that movement, that chromaticism that's happening. But here, that C sharp is also changing. So that from going from a C to a C sharp. So really, and just knowing how jazz songs work, really it would be like a C to a C sharp diminished. But when you're there in this part of the neck, see how I went to a D minor 7 down here, and then I went to a G7 right here with G13. I did something again that I do oftentimes. I throw in like this. Here I bar, and it's not necessarily, it's not like a clean diminished chord now, because this would be the straight diminished. But I like throwing in those barred, fifths intervals. Because again, the same thing is happening here. We were going down. Here I'm going up. There I did it. I kept the pattern going. I just went. So that's a cool move. Just more ideas. Here's another idea I want to show you. Instead of a 1-6-2-5, you could also play 3-6-2-5. So you're basically subbing a 3 minor in for the one chord, but oftentimes, so you could play that. You could play like the E minor 7 like this. So E minor 7, A minor 7, D minor 7, and G7. But another really cool move is, of all these different variations you could do for the 6 chord, that could be a diminished chord. Those are really, we refer to those a lot of times as passing chords, because they're just taking you from one chord on the way to another chord. So here's a move like this. You could go E minor 7, and I'm barring here with my third finger, going down a half step, That's the 3 flat minor. There I went D minor 7, and then a 5 chord, the G7. Maybe I could keep that pattern going down, and again move my third finger, those barred notes down. And as I mentioned before, you can substitute a lot of different things for that A minor 7. So you could have a 1 6 2 5. The 6 could be minor. The 6 could be major. I could do a diminished chord. So my options are either a 1 diminished or a flat 3 diminished, right? Or I could do a 1 sharp diminished, which we looked at an example. We looked at both of these examples in different parts of the neck a minute ago. But if I did it here in this part of the neck, you could go this 3 minor. That's like a 6 dominant, or it functions also in that same diminished arpeggio. There's the diminished shape. Or I could go, here's the diminished shape. So I'm going E minor 7, C diminished, 2 minor 5. I'm going to show you guys a really fun chord, because I love playing this shape right here, this G sus, and of course you can make that. Here's like a really typical G13 shape that I've played for a million years. So I could make this open G on the bottom. I could raise this G that's on top and get this really cool sound. And so that is the flat 9. So it's a flat 9 13 chord.